Hey guys, it's Lisa. Welcome to Banning, Panning and Beyond. Sorry I've been missing in action for a while, but I think most of you are aware that I have been working out in the yard a lot with my husband. So we have finally finished the front yard and the back decking in regards to sanding back and lacquering all the timber. So that's not the end of the projects, but for now that we're going to have a couple of days break and we'll start up again next week. We've also got pretty crappy weather at home. It's been raining, so that gets me out of it. And yeah, so anyway, I won't keep chatting. I'm going to let you know what today's video is about, and then I can keep chatting through the rest of it. So I have decided to take part in a challenge by the Minimalist Glow from Instagram. It's called 5 Product Friday, and it is Friday for me today, so I decided I would go ahead with this challenge. So I would be really keen to see if anybody else wants to partake in this challenge on YouTube as well, because it's pretty open to what you can do. Really, the limit is just picking what 5 products you want to use. So I worked my way back with this one. So I thought about the one product that I really didn't want to go without in the look, and for me that was mascara. So I picked my Hourglass Caution mascara sample. So that is product number 1, and then of course I thought, you know, definitely I wanted to try and do some form of eyeshadow. So I am also doing the 31 days of Colourpop challenge on Instagram as well. So I decided to pick up a Super Shock shadow, and this one is in I Heart This. Hopefully that will focus. If not, you'll just have to take my word for that one. So it is pretty cool toned, sort of shimmery color, and I thought I could use that on my lid and as my inner corner highlight, and potentially as a actual cheek highlighter and a lip topper. So it's a pretty multi-purpose product. And then I decided to also bring in this Nutrimetics. It's a bronze and glow powder. So there are 4 colors in that, but I'm going to make sure that I don't dip into them separately. I'm going to blend them together. Otherwise I would sort of figured that was kind of cheating. If I use the individual colors, it'd be like having multiple products. So I'm going to use that on my eyes as well as my cheeks to give me a little bit of color, because I'm not doing foundation today. So that was product number 3. And then for product number 4, I chose a Colourpop Ultra Glossy Lip, and the colour is Fantasia. So it's another fairly neutral gloss, and I thought that would work well with the eye colour that I'm going to do with the bronzer and the Super Shock shadow, and also that it will work hopefully well to use that Super Shock shadow as a topper on that. And then I got down to the final product, and that's where I thought, you know, do I do foundation? But I thought because I'm doing such a minimal look that maybe it would look a little bit silly to have foundation on. So I decided to forego that, and I ended up picking up just a clear brow gel. So that's the Kai Brow. So I'm really sorry, but because it's so overcast out, sort of had to use my ring light today, so you're going to get a lot of reflection on these products. But yeah, so I didn't want to go with my Benefit Gimme Brow because I thought it might be too dark and wouldn't look natural enough for the rest of the look. So you've got me warts and all from scratch, and I figured I would just have a chat and sort of give you guys an update of where I'm at with things while I do my minimal makeup look. So probably, I'll show you the tools that I picked. So I've got this big bronzing brush from Morphe, and I ended up picking a Morphe brush. It's the E20 7, so I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see that one, but I thought it's a nice fluffy brush just to get that bronzer sort of into my crease and blend up. And the last tool I decided to pick was my Jeffree Star Cosmetics mirror, just so that I don't poke myself in the eye with my mascara and get it everywhere. So minimal tools there for me as well. So yeah, I'll start with the bronzer, and I'm going to give that a bit of a swirl around, and hopefully this gives me a bit of colour in my cheeks. I like the fact that it's multicolored, so and we'll see how this goes on. I'm hoping it doesn't go on too pigmented. I am using the camera kind of as my mirror, even though I've got the mirror, the ring light mirror above it, but anyway, this seems to be the easiest way to do it. And then give a little bit of colour to my forehead, just to try and, or forehead some people say, just to, because it's a big one, hence why I always prefer to have a fringe, or bangs as other people might call that. Yeah, some people actually, like, especially my sister, they quite like me without a fringe, but yeah, it's just personal preference in the end. So I think that's given me a decent amount of colour. Actually, I might sort of just, I'm still going to swirl. I'm not going to dip her in separately, but so I'll give that a bit of a swirl and just see whether or not I can try and contour my nose with it a little bit. We'll see how that one goes. So so where am I up to in life, other than you know, all the work that I've been doing out in the yard, sorry about that, with my husband. It's been a bit of a tough time. I mean, most of you will know that I lost my my uncle back in April, and you know, that was tough enough as it was, but last month we had the first anniversary of my daughter's diagnosis with her illness, and I know I haven't talked about it a lot on YouTube, and I really don't want to go into it. It's not something that I'm sort of comfortable, I guess, talking about too much, but it's definitely sort of threw me for a few days, and I'm glad that that's sort of passed. And it's not to say that it doesn't affect me, but for some reason, my anniversaries just seem to make everything so much worse. So it's been a little bit of an emotional roller coaster the last couple of months. So I'm just going to go in now and work on sort of crease and transition area with this powder. Hopefully I don't get too distracted and do things in the wrong steps. So but anyway, I think the main thing that I wanted to sort of talk about and get some feedback on is the concept of finishing up a no-buy earlier than what was first planned. I mean, you know, I made grand plans when I first started my YouTube channel and announced it on Instagram, and I kind of made a commitment that I would do a replacements only no-buy for a full 12 months. And I kind of, you know, I did it early in the piece, did a comparison to my being on a replacements only no-buy with a budget was kind of really the same as being on a low buy with a budget, except that what I could use my budget for was restricted purely for replacements only. And I think that might be deep enough. And I guess when I first started the no buy, I had this ideal period in my head of the fact that it would take me 12 months to sort of rehabilitate with my purchasing habits, and I found that it wasn't. I've got a twitching eye. That's terrible. I've been getting them a lot lately. I don't know what causes them, but yeah, I had it in my head that 12 months was the ideal period, and and I don't mean this in a bad way, because it's I'm talking from my own personal experience, but I haven't found it to be as hard as what I thought it was going to be, and I should have realised. I'm just going in with the Super Shock shadow now in my inner corner. I should have realised that everyone's journey is different, every personality is different, environmental factors, and I really thought that under periods of distress and high emotion, that if anything was going to trigger me, and I'm just going to put this Super Shock also on my eyelid now, so I did think that if anything was going to trigger me, it would have been those periods that I've experienced in the last couple of months, and it hasn't. So I'm wondering whether or not I'm actually ready to come off my so-called replacements only no buy with a budget and transition to a low buy with a budget still in place. So the only real change is the fact that I can basically spend my budget on whatever I choose to spend it on. It doesn't have to be replacements only, and I am aware that I'm going to use this Super Shock now as a highlighter on my cheek. I am aware that probably my biggest concern would be eyeshadow, and I need to be very, very conscious of that. But I figured that the only way I'll know for sure whether I'm ready is to actually do it. It's not going to be this magical 12-month mark, that's it, I'm cured, I'm never going to be at risk. I think, I will always be at risk, or at least for a very long period of time yet to come, and I do have to be very mindful. And I think the most important part of stopping me from going overboard is basically having that budget in place. But I haven't decided to whether I will or I won't sort of transition yet. I sort of wanted to just put it out there and see what sort of feedback I get from people. So I'm just going to do my lip gloss now, and I chose lip gloss over lipstick because I don't have to worry about a lip liner. I don't have to be as neat and tidy. But yeah, I mean, I sort of have bounced it off. Oh, this is going to be interesting. I might just use the mirror. I have bounced it off a couple of people, like that oh, this is, oh no, that's the highlighter. I was going to say, this is a little bit shinier than I thought, but it's the highlighter that I put on my Cupid's bow. Oh, this is a challenge, talking and doing lip gloss at the same time. But yeah, and people have said to me, look, it's my journey, and I am really only answerable to myself. But when you make an announcement and you kind of feel accountable, particularly to your followers and your subscribers. So I just wanted to sort of put it out there and see what people thought. And and I actually did see somebody else on Instagram do the same thing, where she felt she was ready and she came off her no buy early, and she kind of just thought, it's up to me ultimately what I do, and I know that's the case, but still, and it's more of, I'm curious how other people feel about it, and I will take that into consideration, I guess, when I do make my decision. But I wanted to be sure that if I transition early, I don't feel that I'm doing it for the wrong reasons, and that being because of the fact that I've got the urge to spend money. I want to make sure I transition at a time where I'm feeling under control, which I do. So I figured worst case scenario, if I feel the temptation rising again, I'm just going to put some Super Shock shadow on my lip gloss. I'm just going to put it in the center of my lip, I think. Yeah, that I need to use a different finger because now that one's all sticky. That, yeah, if I do feel that I'm at risk of breaking my budget and doing impulse buying, that I'm just going to get a makeup wipe to clean my fingers off, that, you know, I put myself immediately back on the no buy. So I think what's important is to see whether or not you guys have experience in this, whether there's any tips, any things I might need to consider when doing it, so that when I do make my decision, I've thought about all of that sort of stuff. So I'm going to do my eyebrows next. I wonder whether I can do this in the camera. So I've almost finished this eyebrow gel too, and I'm quite happy. I mean, it works, but I'm happy to see the end of it, to be honest. I have tried to take the stopper out, and then I had too much product coming out. So will I be able to do this? I suppose it doesn't really matter. It is a slightly tinted, actually. It's not 100% clear. You can see I have very little eyebrow hair on the tail. I do like myself bushy brow. Get my fringe out of the way. Yeah, so any feedback you guys could give me would be really appreciated. And I guess then, you know, if I do decide to transition, then I will let you guys know. So there we go. That is the 4th product use. So now I've just got mascara to do. I'll see will those brows set. Use a mirror. I'm just looking in the mirror now behind my phone. So the look has come out very light and just a nice light sort of wash of colour. So I'm really glad that I decided to not do foundation. So this is going to be tricky, doing mascara on camera, whether or not I'm going to be pulling silly faces or not. So, and I'll just let you know, I pinned my hair up and I've left it up while I do this, because I finally exercised today, and that is something that I've been wanting to get back into, and I found it really, really difficult, because I'm this sort of person that really needs routine and to be able to just get up and just go and not have to think too much about what my day entails. And I've been struggling to get a routine, because in my household, I've mentioned before that my husband is a night shift worker, so he sleeps during the day. He basically gets home about 7:30 in the morning, and he's often back in bed by about 9:30, 10 o'clock, and he'll go back to sleep for, you know, roughly 5 hours, and then he tries to get a couple of hours back in again at night before he gets up roughly at 11 o'clock at night. And his employee is actually my eldest stepson. So and both my stepsons are only here every second week, and the youngest one gets up and is out of the house at 5:30 for work, and the other one, the oldest one that works for my husband, does, on the week that he is with us, he works 2 shifts a week. He's just finished up with uni, but thinking about going and doing another course. I could call it TAFE, but not everyone would know what TAFE is. It's a tertiary thing. I guess it's like college. And yeah, and then the week that he's not with us, he's been doing 3 shifts a week, which is so that we could get all this work done and my husband could have some time off. So I'm going to, this is going to be difficult. I'll have to put the mirror up and try and do my lower lash line without covering over too much. So I'm not doing a good job of it, but anyway. Yeah, so on the week that he is with us, he isn't up as long as what my husband is, and ends up going back to bed about 8:30 in the morning. So and I'm trying to work out a routine that works around the week that my 2 stepsons are here. And I'm not sure whether I mentioned or not that my son is also moving back home at the end of June, which is a really positive thing, but a new dynamic to try and work around. And I know he usually gets up around 7 o'clock in the morning, from what he's told me. So I'm going to stop talking while I try and do this. And I just got a little bit of mascara. I don't know if you can see it. I'll just let it dry and then I'll try and wipe it off. So yeah, so, and then, you know, before I had set scheduled like days for filming, and that got thrown out when my husband started having every second Thursday off, and we were working in the yard. And I guess when I'm working in the yard, it kind of counts as exercise and I don't have to worry about it. But anyway, I have been trying to put a lot of thought into getting myself a new routine and getting back into exercising, because I feel very unfit, which has been highlighted by working out in the yard a lot. And yeah, and I also would really like to lose a few kilos, because or more than a few, because I have a lot of clothes that don't fit me and I don't really want to buy more. So, and from a health point of view, I am considered obese, so I really do need to try and get back within my healthy weight range. And I'm not doing the conversion, but last time I weighed myself, I was between 81 and 82 kilos, and for my height and frame I should be closer to 67. So I really do have about 15 kilos to try and move just to be within a healthy weight range. So yeah, and I find if I don't have a routine in place, then I don't stick to it and I skip it. So anyway, that is it. I am done with the look. So I have exercised this morning. I put 50 minutes in. We have a home gym, and I've really got no excuse other than to have a good schedule in place. I'm a bit scared if I let my hair out, it's going to look messy, so I still need to try and get rid of that bit of mascara. I'll just use this that I used to clean my hands, seeing as I have no concealer or anything under my eyes to remove. So what do you guys think? It's pretty neutral. I know I looked very pale when I first came on here, and it doesn't help when you've got the shine from the ring lights, but I will let my hair out, I suppose. And I am currently trying to train my hair, so I am day 4 now. I think, was it last week? I'm so lost for time. When I started, I went 10 days between washes, so I used a lot of dry shampoo and just put my hair up and everything. So I think I went 6 days a week after that, and that was only because I had a hospital appointment with my daughter, and then and so far I'm on day 4. So because I exercise, I don't know how well I'm going to go, because obviously that's going to make my scalp more oily. And the reason I want to wash my hair less is because I'm still very dry and frizzy, even though I never like heat style my hair. I let my hair air dry after I wash it, and I do use a mask type conditioner on the ends. I never condition my scalp, and yeah, and I never colour my hair, so it's still quite frizzy, and that's why I just like to use like a texturizing spray, because for me to try and get perfectly straight yeah, nice neat hair just doesn't, it doesn't look good. So because I'm always so frizzy and everything here, so I guess you just got to work with what you've got. So anyway, I'm done. I would really love some feedback on anything that I've talked about today, and definitely, you know, if anyone's keen, do the 5 product Friday challenge, and I will put the hashtag on the screen, and also the name of the account that started the hashtag, and yeah, that is it. I'm not sure when I will be back on, but hopefully it won't be too far away. So as per usual, thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.